Alamin. Assalatu wassalamu ala asrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa ashabi ajmain amma ba'du. The Honorable Director of Universitas Muhammadiyah Purwokerto, Profesor Dr. Jebul Suroso.
The Honorable the Vice Rector 1 of Universitas Muhammadiyah Purwokerto, Associate Dr. Saifur Rahman, PhD.
The Honorable the Head of Language Development Center, Mr. Faisal SS, MPD, PhD.
The Honorable the Chairperson of UPYC 2025 Committee, Mrs. Astria Alfani Dewi.
The Honorable all instructors of the Language Development Center and all participants of UPYC 2025.
Welcome to
the
the
5th
5th
UMP Progressive Youth Conference 2025.
With the theme, Empowering Voices, the integration of academic, literacy, professional communication, and student-led media to shape the future.
First of all, let's pray and give thanks to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for His blessings and mercy that have allowed us to gather here without any barriers in the UPYC ceremony of the English Enrichment Program held by the Language Development Center of Universitas Muhammadiyah Purwokerto.
Second, praise and salutation to our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the world's greatest leader and the last messenger who was able to deliver us from the Jahiliyah era into the brightest era.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we continue, allow us to introduce ourselves first. My name is Zaki Ibrahim and my partner,
Pandia Galuh Nurlisa.
It is a great honor for both of us to be your master of ceremony for today's event.
Before we proceed, allow us to kindly inform you of today's rundown. First, opening.
Second, Quran recital.
Third, singing Indonesian national anthem and Sang Surya.
Fourth, conference report by the chairperson.
Fifth, opening remarks by the rector.
Sixth, welcome performance and reception photo session.
Seventh, featured speaker session by international students.
Eighth, parallel session 1.
Ninth, duhur prayer and lunch break.
10th, keynote lecture.
11th, parallel session 2.
12th, closing remarks.
13th, announcement of the best presenters.
14th, closing.
That is the rundown for today's program. Now let's begin the first agenda, officially opening this event by reciting Basmalah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
To begin this event with blessings, we will listen to the recitation of the Holy Quran by Mr. Faiz Fahrudin. To Mr. Faiz Fahrudin, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A'udzu billahi minasy syaithanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Inna fatahna laka fatham بنا ليغفر لك الله ما تقدم من ذنبك وما تأخر ويتم نعمته عليك ويهديك صراطا مستقيما وينصرك الله نصرا عزيزا هو الذي أنزل السكينة في قلوب المؤمنين ليزدادوا إيمانا ليزدادوا إيمانا مع إيمانهم ولله جنود السماوات والأرض وكان الله عليما حكيما وكان الله عليما حكيما صدق الله العظيم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته
Sadaqallahul Azim wa sadaqa Rasulullahil Karim. Thank you to Mr. Faiz Fahrudin.
Now we will sing together the Indonesian National Anthem Indonesia Raya, followed by the Muhammadiyah Anthem Sang Surya. To all audiences, please stand up. Thank you to all audiences. Please be seated.
Next, we will listen to the conference report delivered by the chairperson of UPYC 2025, Mrs. Astria Alfani Dewi SPD. To Mrs. Astria Alfani Dewi, time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Rector of Universitas Muhammadiyah Purwokerto, Bapak Profesor Dr. Jebul Suroso, our Vice Rector of Academic Affairs, Bapak Saifur Rahman PhD, the Head of Language Development Center, Bapak Faisal SSMPD PhD, all of respected English Management Program instructors, my fellow committees from Language Development Center, our distinguished speakers, and of course, last but not least, dear all presenters and participants of the 5th UPYC. Good morning. Okay, how are you? Fine? Great. Okay, my name is Astria and I am so happy to serve you as the coordinator for this year's UPYC. First of all, let's thank Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for giving us His mercy and blessings so we can finally meet here in this lovely morning, in these occasions, after weeks of communicating through WhatsApp, yeah. So we can finally meet in person. And salawat and salam may always be upon our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am standing here to give you the conference report, but before that, allow me to express my very personal and humble feeling of gratitude and appreciations to all of your participations, your effort, your hard work, and also your enthusiasms. So may I have a big round of applause for you guys. Thank you so much. So before I finally deliver the conference report, let me walk you back to where first UPYC was initiated. So Language Development Center is one of the units in this university. We have many programs for our students. One of the programs called the English Enrichment Program. And the instructors, they are sitting in the second row and more are coming. And inside this English Enrichment Program, we have this specific class, what we call as the elite class. So basically in the English Enrichment Program, the instructors teach general English for the non-English students. And then in the elite class, this class is objected for those English Enrichment Program students who are interested to study English deeper and more specifically. And as the elite class students, we thought that maybe final tests, we need something more than just final tests. So we initiated this conference as their final project to finally show what they have been learning in elite class. But as time goes by, we believe that this could be something really, this university is also needed. Not only for the students in our program, but also for students in other majors in this university. And starting from last year, ladies and gentlemen, UPYC was open for public. So not only for students and lecturers from Universitas Muhammadiyah Purwokerto, but also from those who comes from other institutions. And coming to my reports, ladies and gentlemen, this year we are so proud and happy to host more than 100 presenters coming from many institutions, and they will be presenting offline and online. And the presenters will also be supported by more than 40 participants who also come from some institutions. And one of the institutions is our neighbor here from Universitas Harapan Bangsa, from UNES, welcome. And then the presenters are also coming from Universitas Muhammadiyah Surakarta, Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, Universitas UPN, veteran, and then UIN Sunan Kalijaga, Yogyakarta, and many others that I cannot mention one by one. Thank you so much, and on behalf of the committee, we would like to say welcome to Universitas Muhammadiyah Purwokerto. And again, we would like to also say thank you so much, Pak Rector, for the supports, and then Pak Vice Rector for the advice and suggestions, and for all of the English Enrichment instructors for all your hard work and also participations coming here. And last but not least is also for my fellow committee. Thank you so much for making this happen. And of course, dear presenters and participants, thank you so much for your participations and enthusiasm. Last but not least, we want to emphasize that actually UPYC is not only for those who are experienced enough in the world of conference, but also for the first-timer students who maybe just took their first step in the world of international conference, starting from this year, inshallah, yeah. We want to facilitate those who are probably coming from other majors, not English, so that's why we facilitate this conference to be delivered bilingually, not only in English, but also in Bahasa Indonesia. So one last time, ladies and gentlemen, if you are the first timer in the international conference, we want to make sure that UPYC to be your first door to the many doors that you will open in the future. Thank you so much for me. Have a best time in Universitas Muhammadiyah Purwokerto. Welcome and good luck. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you to Mrs. Astria Alfani Dewi for the conference report.
Moving on to the next agenda, we would like to invite Associate Dr. Saifur Rahman, PhD, as the Vice Rector 1 of Universitas Muhammadiyah Purwokerto to deliver his opening remarks. To Associate Dr. Saifur Rahman, time is yours.
Okay. Thank you so much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, my peace and mercy and blessing be upon all of us. First of all, thanks to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, because of His mercy and blessing, we can gather here in a very great events, UMP Progressive Youth Conference 2025, UPYC. Salawat and salam be upon to our best Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Ladies and gentlemen, in these great occasions, on the behalf of Universitas Muhammadiyah Purwokerto, we would like to welcome you all to these meaningful occasions, to the UMP Progressive Youth Conference, and we would like to extend our warmest greeting and appreciations to our respected colleagues and guests, the head of Language Development Center, Pak Dr. Faisal MPD, the head of the UPYC 2025, Mrs. Astria, and all dedicated committee of UPYC, and then also to our instructors in English enrichment programs, and also the Excellency, the keynote speaker of this conference, like SERAP EMEN PhD from Mardin Artuklu University, Turkey. Thank you so much for your sharing, Prof. And then also my student as the invited speaker, our international students, Mr. Mamut Saine from Gambia and Miss Victoria from Myanmar, and then Miss Ayesha from Pakistan, and of course the honorable all presenters and participants of this UPYC. Ladies and gentlemen, Universitas Muhammadiyah Purwokerto has always continued to support this kind of event, especially to drive the young and for the academic event like this one. So we always give the opportunity for the students, especially Ms. Fafa said that this is a capstone project for the students. So capstone project means that after they got the theory, they directly do the real thing, and then this UPYC is the real thing as their learning in elite class of LDC. And of course that LDC and Universitas Muhammadiyah Purwokerto always give the opportunity for our students, not only the elite class, but also all students of Universitas Muhammadiyah Purwokerto. And We do appreciate that the participants and especially the presenters of this UPYC 2025 is more than 100, and we do appreciate. So that's we give our best gratitude for our presenters coming from our partner university who has joined in this conference. And also regards from Pak Rector, because in the same time Pak Rector and all of us have the management meeting in the same time, so he couldn't come and join in this meeting. And then also I'm so sorry I have to give my speech online. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope that this event is not only burden your academic horizons, but also it will strengthen your values, your knowledge, and then also your collaboration is other, so we can improve the quality of our knowledge. And let us make this conference as a moment of inspirations and transformations for all of us. I think that's all. By saying Basmalah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. On the behalf of Universitas Muhammadiyah Purwokerto, I declare that UMP Progressive Youth Conference 2025 officially open. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Associate Dr. Saifur Rahman, for the opening remarks.
Up next is the welcome performance, followed by a photo session. Now we have special performance from our friend, Mr. Ahmad Bazar. To Mr. Ahmad Bazar, the stage is yours.
Hello everyone. Good morning. Here I'm going to sing a song by Calum Scott. The title of the song is You Are the Reason. Have you guys know the song? Yeah. Let's sing together. Okay. There goes my heart beating, 'cause you are the reason I'm losing my sleep. Please come back now. There goes my mind racing, and you are the reason that I'm still breathing. I'm hopeless now. I'd climb every mountain and swim every ocean just to be with you and fix what I've broken. Oh, 'cause I need you to see that you are the reason. There goes my hand shaking, and you are the reason. My heart keeps bleeding. I need you now. If I could turn back the clock and make sure the light defeated the dark, I spend every hour of every day keeping you safe. I'd climb every mountain and swim every ocean ocean just to be with you and fix what I've broken, 'cause I need you to see that you are the reason. I'd climb every mountain and swim every ocean just to be with you and fix what I've broken, 'cause I need you to see that you are the reason. Thank you so much. Do you want more? Really? Okay, one more song. The song is by Ed Sheeran with the title of song Perfect. Okay, let's sing this song. To music. I found love for me, and darling, just dive right in and follow my lead. Well, I found a girl, beautiful and sweet. I never knew you were the someone waiting for me, 'cause we were just kids when we fell in love. Now knowing what it was, I will not give you up this time. But darling, just kiss me slow. Your heart is all I own, and in your eyes show to mine, baby. I'm dancing in the dark with you between my arms, barefoot on the grass, listening to our favorite song. When you said you looked a mess, I whispered underneath my breath, but you heard it. Girl, you look perfect tonight. Well, I found a woman stronger than anyone I know. Sisters, my dreams, I hope that someday I'll set her home. And I found a love to carry more than just my secret, to carry love, to carry children of our own. We are still kids, but we're so in love, fighting against a lot. I know we'll be alright this time. But darling, just hold my hand. Be my girl, I'll be your man. I see my future in your eyes. baby, I'm dancing in the dark with you between my arms, barefoot on the grass, listening to our favorite song. When I saw you in the dress, looking so beautiful, I don't deserve this. Darling, you look perfect tonight. Oh, baby, I'm dancing in the dark with you between my arms, barefoot on the grass, listening to our favorite song. I have faith in what I see. Now I know I have made an angel in person, and she looks perfect. No, I don't deserve this. You look perfect tonight. Thank you so much.
What a beautiful performance. Thank you, Mr. Ahmad Pasar. Next, we have photo session. Please, for the committee, kindly to lead the photo session.
Okay. Dear Pak Faisal and all respective teachers of Language Development Center, we would like to invite you all to stand in the stage. We will have two sessions. The first one is stage background, and then the second session will be together with all presenters and participants. We would like to invite again the respective all teachers of LDC, and then of course the international speakers, the international students as well. We would like to invite you all to join the teachers in the stage. We will have some takes with the stage background. After that, we will do the photo session together with all participants. Okay. Ladies, you may stand in the left and the right side of the presenters. Move left, please. Move right. Move right. Sorry, move right. Move right. Move right. Move right. Move right. Geser ke kanan. Bu Fafa. Yes. Thank you very much. The second text will, we will have the session, photo session together with all presenter and participant. So the photographer will stand in the stage. All participant and presenters, please kindly stand up, please. Silakan berdiri agar tertangkap kamera semuanya. Kurang mundur nggak, Mas fotografer? Yang di depan? Kurang mundur nggak? He's setting the focus ya. Okay, in 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you very much. MC's time is yours.
We now proceed to the featured speaker session presented by our international students. This session will be moderated by Mr. Rafli. So Mr. Rafli, time is yours.
Check. Okay. Whoa, there are a lot of crowds here. Hello, everyone. Maybe I can't hear it clearly. Hello, everyone. Okay. Why is it so sorrow? Like they're so subtle here. Are you on heartbeat or anything towards there will be presentations after this? Are you excited for today, guys? Okay, please have a lot of applause first. Well, good morning to you all and welcome to today's inspiring and electrifying event where ideas collide, cultures connected, and voices ignite transformations. Well, no others than the 5th UPYC 2025. I'm not done yet. With the main theme, empowering voices, the integrations of academic literacy, professional communications, and student-led media to shape the future. Wow, the main theme is so great. Okay, before we go to the main agenda or the native speakers or the international speakers, well, let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Rafli Maulana, and I'm really absolutely thrilled to be your moderator today. Well, we're about to embark on our journey of insight and experience brought to you by 3 phenomenal speakers from across the globe, each with their own stories, missions, and magic to share. So buckle up and get ready for an interactive, heart-driven, and intellectually uplifting sessions. But before we go to the agenda with our featured speakers, the international students of Universitas Muhammadiyah Purwokerto, allow me to introduce them. First up, we have Mamut Saine. Please stand up, Mamut Saine. He is a dynamic educator from the Gambia with over 10 years of global teaching experience, a passionate motivator, and seasoned master of ceremony, from leading classrooms to rocking international seminars. Mamut brings powerful energy and visions to every stage he steps on. And for today, he will talk about the redefining academic literacy. Please, Mr. Mamut. Next, we will hear from Ayesha Sohail, a Pakistani educator and digital communicator who blends literature, leadership, and creativity, a PEEF scholar and former university head girl. Ayesha knows how to command attentions and spark engagement both on paper and in person. And today, Ayesha will tell us about the student media. Please, Miss Ayesha. Yeah, please come to the stage. And of course, lastly, let's a big welcome to Miss Victoria. Please stand up, Miss Victoria.
She is a multilingual master of ceremonies, IELTS tutor, a global speaker and psychology graduate from Myanmar. From teaching English to leading mental health panels and launching her own English academy, Miss Victoria brings wisdom, warmth, and of course, a wow to every platform she's on. Please, Miss Victoria, come to the stage. Hello. Oh, hello guys. Okay. How are you guys today? Great. Okay. You guys look nervous. Are you guys nervous? Most likely no. Okay. Thank you, committee. Okay, maybe all of the participants are already waited for the material that you are going to tell. But first, maybe I would like to ask Mr. Mamut, please deliver your material. Is it already?
Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A warm and energetic good morning to everyone joining us from around the globe for UMP's Progressive Youth Conference 2025. As we embrace the theme, Empowering Voices, the integration of academic literacy, professional communication, and student-led media to shape the future, let us begin by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to whom all praise is due, for granting us the opportunity to gather, to learn, and to collaborate. May He continue to guide us in this journey of knowledge and unity. I begin by sending peace and blessings to our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whose life remains a guiding light in all our endeavors. To Associate Professor Dr. Jebul Suroso, Professor, Dr. Jebul, Professor Suroso, Rector of UMP, our Honorable Keynote Speaker, distinguished guests and co-presenters or co-speakers, esteemed participants, respected faculty members, and fellow students. All protocols are duly and respectfully observed. It is with great pleasure I introduce myself. I am Mamut Saine, as he rightly said, a proud international student from the English Language Education Study Program at Universitas Muhammadiyah, Purwakarta. I am truly honored and excited to be part of this meaningful event. On that note, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the LDC for the invitation and warm reception. Once again, thank you so much to the organizing committee for this platform. With that, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to start my presentation with focuses on the topic that truly, reflect the heart of this conference theme: redefining academic literacy, the impact of Jolly Phonics training on teachers, pedagogical practices for early English language learners. Guys, are we ready to start? Yes. Let's get into the presentation. In this presentation, we'll be looking at a brief introduction, then proceed to why redefining academic literacy matters, what Jollyphonics is all about, the purpose or research purpose, methodology, the findings, redefining academic literacy, the implications, and so on. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, literacy must evolve in today's fast-changing world. What I'm trying to say is, in today's rapid changing world, literacy is more than just reading and writing. It is a survival skill. However, for many young learners who are in multilingual or low-resource settings, they still, early literacy is still a significant challenge. My focus is on early English language learners who begin school with little or with limited exposure to English. And the question is, how do we equip teachers to help these learners succeed? This is where Jollyphonics comes in to offer an effective, inclusive solution to the problem of literacy, reading and writing. Forging ahead to the main theme, which is why redefining academic literacy matters. It is good for us, it is very important for us to understand that academic literacy starts with early reading. It doesn't start at university level. So for us to deal with the problem of literacy, it starts from the grassroots. And when we talk about the grassroots, we are referring to the young learners of English who face key challenges. One, which is limited English exposure. Secondly, could be weak phonemic foundation. It is very important for learners, young learners, to understand or to know the sounds of the English letters. Because when you read or you write, or let me say when you read, you use sounds to pronounce words and not the names of the letters. And most often, the phonetic system of the English language and the language, the native language of those learners, most of the time are different. So when they have the weak phonemic foundation, then there will be a problem for them to acquire the reading skills. And the other problem is traditional rote teaching methods, which we need to deviate from. So that is why in the previous slide I talk about the question, how do we equip teachers to be able to help these learners? Because they need to deviate from the traditional rote teaching method and then adopt to new teaching strategies. And that is why we need a structured research-based tool that we need to give to these teachers so that they will be equipped to be able to deal with the problems of early literacy. We move on to what is Jollyphonics? Guys, I want to ask this question. Have you ever heard about Jollyphonics? Is there anyone who have heard Jollyphonics before? Okay, maybe you will want to tell us. Okay, now Jollyphonics is a synthetic phonics method with 42 sounds of English. This is an approach that teaches the sounds of English language. And for Jollyphonics, there are 42 sounds of English. We know that there are over 42 sounds with other approaches, but for Jollyphonics, we focus on 42 sounds. These sounds are taught using 5 basic skills. We have what we call sounding, letter formation, blending, identifying sounds in words, and tricky words. And in teaching these skills, Jollyphonics uses visual, auditory, and kinesthetic learning. Children are not only in the classroom to listen to the sounds, but they see the sounds, they use actions, stories, and other activities to help children understand the sounds. It is a multisensory and story-based approach. All the sounds that we are talking about, when you introduce them to children, we introduce them with stories. And it is also an approach that is widely adopted globally. Many countries are using Jollyphonics to help solve the problem of literacy. And now the purpose of the research. The aim is to find out teachers' knowledge and confidence in using Jollyphonics, and how Jollyphonics changes their classroom lesson delivery, that is classroom instructional strategies in the way they teach reading and writing, and also their perception and how they use it in multilingual classrooms. And the methodology. I use a quantitative descriptive survey involving 72 trained English language teachers in the Gambia. These teachers are both in urban and rural areas. And the data collection tool, I used an online questionnaire with Likert scale and open-ended items. And then I used the SPSS software to analyze my data. The key findings. Teachers, one of the key findings is we found that teachers rated Jollyphonics highly effective. An average score of 4.75 out of 5. And also they have seen this approach as relevant and very practical in the classroom. We also found out that it gives the teachers more confidence in their lesson planning. It provides them with strategies to plan their lessons better, and then in their lesson delivery, which is very important. If the teacher is confident in teaching, in planning the lessons, and obviously executing those plans in front of the class with confidence, obviously we assume that, or we think that those lessons will be successfully delivered to the class. The objectives will be met. And the other key finding is, from the training, teachers shifted from the traditional teaching method to an interactive multisensory teaching. They now use strategies that involve, children seeing, using different senses to be able to teach or make the classrooms interactive and lively, because they're using stories, games, and so on to teach. And then students also became more engaged, because now we are dealing with young learners and using the songs and the actions with the stories engage students more and makes the class fun. And we build their confidence for them to be able to read on their own. That is why decoding words become easy for children. They read independently. If we teach them the sounds and they are able to put these sounds together to read words, this gives them the confidence to become independent readers. And the third one is the challenges that we also found, that some of these confident gaps and challenges. Surprisingly, we realized that we found out that rural teachers showed higher confidence than urban teachers, and experienced teachers also had stronger command of phonics. They were more confident, they were more prepared to teach phonics and use the strategies in the classroom than, teachers that are less experienced. And the challenges that teachers also shared were lack of teaching materials, time constraints. Some of them, claim that the time is too short, is too limited for them to be able to execute all they want to execute about phonics. And also curriculum alignment. Most of the teachers said that the Jolly Phonics needs to align with the curriculum to make their work smooth, or to ensure that everything that they are doing is in line with what the policy or what the syllabus is having in hand. That will also make the work, go smooth, and then the execution will yield more dividend. Okay. And now, finally, we move on to the redefining of academic literacy. We realize that academic literacy goes beyond only technology. It begins with how children read, how reading is taught in schools. And for that, we need phonics, which is also structured and is used to empower teachers to solve the reading problem. Jolly Phonics is a bridge for foundational reading for early English language learners. And this aligns with Vygotski's theory for scaffolding through guiding learning. And finally, the implications and the practices. First, teacher development. It needs to be an ongoing process, an ongoing training, mentorship, and refreshers to ensure that teachers are up to date and are always, prepared to go in for the task. And secondly is curriculum and policy. We need to make sure that the national curriculum aligns with phonics teaching and also recognize phonics-based literacy as a foundational tool. And lastly, resources and support. It should be provided. There should be materials, teaching materials that are friendly, context-friendly, provided at, which are affordable and then provided to teachers. And support should be given to rural teachers and under-resourced schools, schools that are not, And then in conclusion, redefining academic literacy starts from the teacher. So meaning for us to redefine, to rethink how this problem of literacy is solved, we need to start with the teachers that are dealing with the students. When we deal with the teachers, they can easily transfer the skills to teach to the students and the problem will be solved. Jollyphonics is one of the tools that we can use to empower both the educators and the learners to ensure that literacy is achieved. Early literacy is achieved. And literacy equity is possible through structured, inclusive practices like Jollyphonics. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's all from me. Thank you so much for your wonderful listening. I now hand over to the moderator. Thank you.
Okay, give a round of applause to Mr. Mamut Saine. Wow, that's so mind-blowing. Well, I guess the next speaker will be much more mind-blowing. Okay, up next we'll hear from Miss Ayesha Sohail about student media. Miss Ayesha, the floor is yours.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ayesha Sohail Rana and I'm from Pakistan. So my topic is about the student-led media. It seems like a fun, but I will say it is the sensitive topic. So I will wake you up. I will start with the story, just an incident from the past that describe the power of the student. What is the student? As we know, the student is someone who seeks the knowledge. At any age, it can be child, it can be young, it can be the elder. If he is the person who is seeking the knowledge, we will call them a student. At the end of the World War II, do you know about that World War happened? After the end of the World War II, before the Cold War era, there was the government of the Mao government in China. Does anyone know about the self-police system? What is the self-police system? It's really interesting. If the government wants to control the public, that you don't need to talk against the government. So how does the government know that someone is talking against them in the family? So they will launch the self-police system. It's mean if we heard someone is talking about against the government, we will kill the whole family, even if the one person. So if you want to keep yourself safe, just tell the government, it was my brother, it was my sister, it was my mother, not me. So it's called the self-police system. It's mean the government, they don't need the soldiers to control the community. The community has the slave mindset and they want to live. They will do whatever the government wants. So when it happens, the society was so enslaved. They were dying because of the drought and hunger. Now governments want to change the policy, but they cannot go against of their own words. So they launched the student community in the whole country. That student will come out on the roads, then we will show that now we are changing the policies just because of the students. So I will start like this. When the students speak, society must listen because their word often carry the answers of tomorrow. So I will just start from the basic information. We all know the media can be digital, print, electronic, mainstream media, but the same media, social media, but the same platform, if they are led and run by the students, it will be called the student media. So, but the problem is, we have the student community in our university, we have the student media community in the schools, but students are still working as an individual journalism. Like it will be called the semi-professional journalism. First, they will pick the issue that what is happening in their surroundings. It can be the bullying, cyberbullying, the harassment. It can be in the positive thing. So, after the identifying the issue, the important thing is the research. As you know, the research means finding something again. Research. The best thing as a student, you need to do the double check. You cannot share the story like it, in my opinion. You cannot start like, I feel like that. I feel it's wrong. Okay, no one cares about your feeling. In my opinion, no. In the previous studies, I have the evidence, and according to the facts, this is happening and this is against the morality and ethics. As we know, the moral laws and the ethics laws in the international charters. You should do the research and then the create content. And content can be written article, it can be blog, it can be the reel, the video, and it can be the meme. It works according to our psychological perspectives. Some people, they perceive the serious content by the meme in a fun way. Some, they just go for the serious content. So after that, the distribution, publication. You can use the mainstream media, but it's the limited media, like the national. But most of the students, they are using the social media platform. And then engage and respond. For the students, there is no limitations. If someone is responding, for example, something is happening in my campus, I will share my story. It will be online. If someone will say, you know, Ayesha, I can feel this, and I will share my own story. It will call like a chain. How you spread the awareness of the one target issue. So the important thing is academic literacy. Academic literacy in media, it's not the tough. It means using your school skills in the real life. How you are getting education, how are you getting the idea. I just want to say this one thing. You know the issue, you have the content, you did the research, you have the facts, you have everything. But the problem is you cannot connect your information. And you don't know how to connect with the world and how can you use this data. So it's here one example, the Daily Californian newspaper. It was the student journalism newspaper. They investigate against the racism in the school system. They published the article about that with the facts and evidence. And then after that, leading to the university-wide conversation. The university, they make the reforms in their policy against the racism in the university. Power of professional communication. As we know, everyone, they have their favorite YouTuber, influencer, content creator. Why? Because they don't just talk, they connect with you. If you are sharing a story, your issue, if you want the attention of the public and the community, so you need to create the content according to their perceptions, how they will perceive this data. There are so many podcasts, blogs, vlogs, and Common Sense podcast is the one of the example that is led by the teenager students. That how the its addresses against the gun violence, gaining the national media attention. And there are several examples in the history, but I just mentioned 3 because they are the movement. One in Indonesia, Greenfluencer, it run by the digital students media platforms like the TikTok and Instagram. But after the Ministry of the Indonesia, the environmental, they work with the influencers. Black Hat movement against the racism, it was led by the students. And the campus climate in the UK. Challenge can be from external and internal. External is like the censorship, banning, warning letters. Why are you doing this? We don't want to listen from the administration. And some challenges are internal. Internal means from the students. We are consuming the data. It can be negative, it can be positive. I want to share an example for you. In 2019, the student make the movement #MeToo. It was against the harassment in the official institutes, college, schools. So every woman, every girl, if she faced the harassment, she will share the story with #MeToo in India, 2019. So it was the successful movement. Police captured so many culprits. But what happened? A young girl, like same age as you as me, she mentioned a guy in the Me Too movement on the social media because there was the flow of the information. That guy harassed me, I was in the trauma, this and that. So what the netizens do, like the students, us, we were so sympathetic. We didn't do the double check. We just heard the story. Oh, she is so sad. He did so bad with her. And we did the negative comments and everything about that guy. That guy was the 19 years old guy. After 3 days, within 3 days, he committed the suicide. After his suicide, when it becomes the suicide case, when police investigate, they came to know that that girl was just lying. It was a fake story. But what happened after the incident, that girl shared the video that I was just making, that was just a prank. If he cannot handle the job, what can I do? It's mean, as a student, we have the responsibility. If there is a flow of information on the social media, we need to do the double check. If you are confident, be responsible. While you are using the student media, you are the tool of the awareness. Don't become the part against the other students. Turning objects into the strength. There's a movement in the Philippines, Project Veritas Youth. It was led by the NGOs, the private firms. They gathered the students from all over the universities under the professional journalism. They teach the students how they can collect the data, they can work professionally in a semi-professional platform. One of the great example is that just within a week, the students of Philippines, they target the community who runs the fake job advertisement and posters. Student media blend academic inquiry and social purpose. So at the end, for the conclusion, I will say the student voices are like just the call to action. There is a theory, the student will make that theory into the practice. But as a student, every one of us, we want to become a leader but not the reader. We don't want to read the history, the background knowledge, what is true and what is wrong, how it will work, and what will the consequences of our just one post. So, be confident, be credible, authentic, do the research, identify the issue, then do the research, do the double check, and then collect the data, make the content, and content should be in all aspects. It can be in the video, it can be in the just 15 second reel, it can be meme. So that's all from me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Miss Ayesha, for the great, I can say, argumentations also about the students' media, and it's about the empowering towards the students, that we have to careful much more about the students' media and anything. And also, last but not least, we'll call our next speaker, Miss Victoria, For she will deliver how shall I say this? Oh yeah, a material about a professional communications. For Miss Victoria, the time is yours.
Okay, everyone. Hello, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, I hope you're all doing well today, this morning. As you all know, my name is Victoria. I come from Myanmar to study in this university, Universitas Muhammadiyah Purwokerto. So today, in this prestigious event, I would like to present you about professional communication, especially to future entrepreneurs and business owners. Now, I would like to ask one question to all of you guys. Do you have a plan to establish your own business or online business after graduation? Or do you have your own business now? Raise your hand. Anyone? Raise your hand. Okay. Okay, all right. I see a few of the people there. So, how do you deal with professional communication? You may ask. So actually, professional communication solely and highly depends on how well you use your business English and also how well you deal with shareholders, stakeholders, and other business investors. Next slide, please. Okay, so in this abstract, I would like to show you how professional communication can be the competency of anything in your entire life when you want to become the future entrepreneur. So in this article, I would like to present the purpose of why I am presenting this article to all of you guys. So as you all know, communication is the central role in any entrepreneurial concept and leadership success. So if you want to become a professional leader and efficient role model for your followers, you need to master professional communication. And of course, this article actually concludes about how you can strengthen your professional communication and how it is essential for your personal development and of course also your sustainable leadership and entrepreneurship. Okay, so of course in today's hyper-connected, innovation-driven global economy, professional communication is a complementary approach. Of course, it is actually a foundational requirement for all of the businesses that you may do in the future. And of course, especially you as entrepreneurs must navigate any business environments that you will experience. Like, for example, when you deal with an online business like me, you have to study your market area, what your clients want, what the other market areas are evolving. And you have to study your competitors, what they are doing, who are they connecting with, and what kind of resources that they use to establish their own business, for example. So you have to develop the professional competency and communication in order to achieve what you want. And of course, that's where strong communication comes. So, for example, of course, we are now communicating, right? So this is informal communication. So we cannot just propose the informal communication to specific respective shareholders or investors that you want to propose your business plan to. Like, for example, if you want to get a loan from the bank, or if you want to hire an investor to invest in your business, you cannot just, hey, I would like you to invest in my business. You cannot just propose like that. So you have to develop a business plan and how to propose your business plan. So even if you have the professional and accurate business plan, if you don't know how to propose your business plan to the specific investor, then you may not have what it takes to even establish your own business in the first place. That is why communication is the key importance of any online or offline businesses. So of course, there are some key communication challenges that I'm going to show you later. But of course, before that, I would like you to know the critical role of communication in leadership and entrepreneurship. Of course, effective communication serves as the key pin connecting leadership capability and entrepreneurial success. And of course, leaders should have vision and mission. What your business will take you to the future, and what kind of mission you will establish in order to achieve your mission. And in order to do that, of course, you have to structure your business plan. And of course, how to structure the business plan, that's like the whole different topic. But right now, we are sticking to the professional communication part. And of course, it is through communication that leaders, entrepreneurs articulate vision, mobilize the teams, and foster a shared sense of purpose. And of course, communication is actually not only a trait, but rather a multi-dimensional competency, meaning that you have to deal with any sorts of dimensions, for example, ethnicities, country, different international markets or national markets. So in order for you to develop a business plan, you have to study the market that you are in. Like, for example, what people need nowadays. For example, do they need English learning? Do they need IELTS, sufficient IELTS band score to study or work elsewhere? So you have to study your market area and explore your competitors' market and what they are doing, how they are setting the prices, how they are providing the services, and how they are providing the products that they're selling. So you have to gain emotional intelligence as well. Emotional intelligence as an emotional maturity. Even if you invest the capital in your business and things are going slow because you just start your own business, then you cannot just feel overwhelmed or overthink or overthought things that are unnecessary. Instead, you have to gain the emotional maturity or emotional intelligence just to achieve what you want. And that is the key characteristic of a true leadership and entrepreneurship. Like, for example, when you want to start your own business, a normal watermelon seller, for example, watermelon seller, right? A person who sells watermelons. Of course, a simple-minded person will just grab the watermelons, just purchase some sort of like, how many? At least 20 to 30 watermelons and just sell on the stand, just like that. But entrepreneurial instincts, that person who has entrepreneurial instincts, they will turn that watermelons into what? What stand? How can an entrepreneur turn a watermelon stand into what stand in order to make more profit? Correct, it's juice. If you have entrepreneurial instincts, you can have the capability to turn a watermelon fruit into juice, which anybody will love. That is creativity. It's not just about complexity, it's about how well you simply think and how well you use that simplicity into your business plan. That is the interesting business market. Okay, of course, in this digital era nowadays, communication actually is important, especially in virtual communication platforms. Like, for example, if you want to do online business, right? Especially in English learning, for example. I mean, personally, I'm an IELTS tutor, so I established my own online business, so I have to use the virtual accounts like Google Meet, Zoom, Google Classroom, whatsoever. I have to teach several international students from Myanmar, Indonesia, Sudan, Philippines, so I have to teach all of the international students worldwide and get to know their cross-cultural communication. So as an IELTS tutor and a professional English teacher for almost 5 years, I have to study my students' needs and wants according to their cross-cultural communication, how they interact with me virtually, their body language, how they want to learn IELTS, for example. So in order for you to establish a business, you have to learn what your client needs, what your client wants, what your client prefers to achieve things that they want. So that's how you can establish the basic foundation of your business according to what your client or what your customer wants. Next slide, please. Okay, literature insights on communication challenges. Here. Of course, there are some challenges in communication, like for example, lack of self-efficacy, poor feedback culture, limited cross-cultural communication competence, and weak integration of communication. Self-efficacy. What is self-efficacy? It means how well you can maintain your behavior towards the client. How well you have the efficiency of yourself to deal with the customer, to deal with the client. If you have lack of that self-efficacy, that you cannot even establish professional communication in the first place. And like I've already mentioned, cross-cultural communication. It's highly important if you are dealing with international relations, and it can be the international opportunity for all of you to establish your own online business. And of course, this literature also shows that leadership programs, which is very important, may overemphasize strategic planning on innovation metrics without balancing them with interpersonal development. Meaning that in leadership communication, of course, especially in leadership programs, even if you want to establish or even if you want to join any leadership programs, then you have to maintain professional cooperation with your partners or with any of your shareholders or stakeholders. Next. Okay, so there are some specific strategies that you can use to strengthen professional communication, as in mentorship and experiential learning, meaning that you have to observe, practice, and refine your communication type. Like anybody has their own communication type. Some are open-minded, some are professional-minded, some are outspoken, anything, according to your personality type. And based on your personality type, you have to deal with the customer and study their personality types and work on through it. That's how a true entrepreneur can succeed in life. You have to mentor them, you have to mentor yourself, and you have to develop your entrepreneurial instincts with experiential learning, meaning learning about your clients, learning about your customers, just to establish your own business in the future. And of course, entrepreneurial training. Being an entrepreneur, of course, you have developed your own business plan, you try to study customers or clients. It's not just that. It's about how well you communicate with the customers. It's not just about verbal communication. It's about mental communication as well. How well you study their needs and wants. It all highly depends on how well you treat them and how well you can provide them the certain services that you are advertising to. And of course, development of digital communication literacy, remote leadership as in online education. For example, nowadays, AI, of course, is really empowered. So educators and even business owners use AI to, of course, alleviate their workload. However, humans can have the control of AI and use AI as the business benefit of their own. Like, for example, IELTS tutor. I'm an IELTS tutor. I asked ChatGPT to create the IELTS speaking simulator. So if I want to test my students' IELTS speaking ability, I use AI IELTS speaking simulator to automatically generate the IELTS speaking band score of my students. So not only educators, but some business owners can develop something like you can ask ChatGPT to make the template of your business plan. Or you can, provide some ideas of your own in order for ChatGPT to create a business plan, for example. So what I'm trying to say is, if you use your resources well, and if your environment has the professional entrepreneurs and professional connections, then digital communication literacy will be much easier for you. And of course, like I've already mentioned, emotional and interpersonal intelligence, cross-cultural and multilingual competency, and institutional support and structural integration. Of course, I've already explained about emotional and interpersonal intelligence and cross-cultural, but I would like to jump on to institutional support and structural integration. Okay, so nowadays, educational and organizational institutions must integrate communication development into leadership curricula and entrepreneurship incubation, meaning that you cannot just implement your educational knowledge to your business plan. Because in the end, business plan and how you develop your business does not really concern with the educational knowledge you may receive. It depends on your experience. It depends on how well you know people. That's why business English and industrial psychology has been developed. So I really encourage you to learn about any business majors, industrial psychology, or business English in order to study the entrepreneurial world. Next slide. Okay, so as for conclusion, again, we are facing rapid technological change. Who knows, maybe we will have AI robots to deal with stuff for us. Even in Japan, they even have the AI robot coffee maker robot. Like they have like the little small stands that the robot will automatically make coffee for you in Japan. So who knows, maybe we will have our own robotic resources to develop our own business plans, right? So of course, because of this technological change, we have to integrate global interconnectivity and evolve leadership paradigms. Professional communication actually stands as a central pillar of entrepreneurial and leadership success. Of course, this article has shown that communication is not just about giving or bringing information, it's actually just about building trust from customer to the seller or client to the seller, and inspiring vision, negotiating partnerships, and fostering resilience. Next slide, please. Of course, from rural communities to high-tech accelerator programs, many scholars actually agree that communication is actually an internal drive for entrepreneurial results. And of course, many emerging leaders, entrepreneurs, even until now, they still struggle with challenges, public speaking, for example. Public speaking, anxiety on, for example, like, do you think I can achieve that? Do you think I can achieve what I want according to my business plan? Do you think I can establish my dream business? So that's the anxiety that many entrepreneurs have faced in this world. And of course, cultural misalignment, the digital overload, and lack of feedback Again, these barriers can limit innovation, collaboration, and influence. If you lack emotional intelligence, and of course, if you lack cultural alignment and digital overload and even lack of feedback, then even though you may have the business plan, if you don't have these specific criteria that I just mentioned before, then establishing your own business is not worth it. It's not worth it at all. So you have to include the public speaking skills, and you have to manage your emotional intelligence by trying to degrade your anxiety. And of course, you need to cooperate with as many cultures as possible. And of course, you need to carefully use the digital resources that may help your business. And of course, feedback. Feedback can be conveyed from the customers, can be obtained from the customers, because the customers are your main feedback for your business. And of course, without these instincts or without these tools, then your creativity of your business, the collaboration is not worth it at all. So in order to address these challenges, of course, the solutions like mentorship programs, communication-focused training, emotional intelligence development, digital literacy, and even any institutional reforms can embed communication into the core of leadership and entrepreneurship curriculum. And of course, again, last but not least, strengthening professional communication is not just a chosen skill. It's actually about strategic imperative and how well you empower yourself as future leaders and entrepreneurs with the tools you can get to communicate effectively. And it can also make sure that not only personal success, but also the advancement of your community, your economy, and your organization or any organizations around the world. So that is my presentation, and I hope you get basic knowledge or advanced knowledge of how you can develop your own business after graduation. So thank you so much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please give a round big applause again towards all of the native speakers, international speakers. Before we continue to the next agenda, I will make sure that maybe a lot of you have questions towards the international students. Okay, maybe you guys can just raise your hands up and we'll go there to give the mic. Okay, anyone? It's a Q&A session. Please. Okay, there's one over there. Okay, ma'am, please state your name.
Can I just sit or stand up? Okay, thank you very much for the chance. My name is Uli Nuha from LBLIA Purwokerto. I would like to ask a question about the question to Mr. The only gentleman here. Yeah, Mr. Mamut, okay, from Gambia. Because I'm also a teacher, so I'd like to ask you a question about the one you explained, Jolly what? Okay.
Jolly phonics.
Yeah, Jolly phonics. This is something new for me, so I would like to know more about this. By the way, have you ever applied this in your classroom? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so please share about how you handle this and maybe the results. How did it go? Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much for the question. Yeah. Like you said, I am not only a classroom teacher, but I am also a Jollyphonics trainer. This approach is, let me say, very effective in helping young English learners to be able to read and write independently for themselves. It is about teaching young learners to the sounds of the letters of the English alphabet. The moment they know the sounds of the sounds of these letters, they can now put these sounds together to be able to read words on their own. So it's like we are giving them the skill for them to be able to read for themselves. First, we teach them the letter sounds. If they master the letter sounds, we then teach them how to put those sounds together, which is called blending, to be able to read words on their own. We also teach them other skills like identifying sounds in words, the sounds that they hear in the word, the positions of the sounds, the number of sounds in the word, and specific sounds in words, for them to be able to realize the sounds in words. The moment they are aware, they are phonologically aware, then it is easy for them to read the words. But again, we don't stop at that. We also teach them tricky words, because not all English words follow the blending rule. Meaning sometimes we have some English words that don't sound the way they are written. Sometimes you may have the sound in the English word, either the sound is silent or the sound is not said the way it should be said. So these are the skills that we put together and then try to, transfer this skill to the children for them to be able to be independent readers and writers. So these are the 5 basic skills: sounding, teaching the sound, the letter sound; blending, that is looking at the letters, saying their sounds, run the sounds together to hear the word, and then you say the word, which to me is the most important skill. The moment they are able to do this process, they can read fluently. And then the next one is identifying sounds, which is also very important. The moment they are able to identify the sounds of letters, when they hear the word and they are able to know that for this word, these are the particular sounds that are put together to hear that word, then this is also another skill that will be an added advantage for them to be able to read. And then tricky words, which is also very important because, like I said, not all the words follow these blending rules. So the moment these skills are used and children are okay with it, then trust me, they will read fluently. As young as 3-4 years, they can read very fluently for you. I hope I answered your question. Thank you.
Okay, please give a round of applause.
Thank you so much.
Okay, maybe is there any other question? Sir, please.
Yeah, thank you so much. I am Ihsan Ahmed. Basically, I am from Pakistan, but I am studying in UNES as a master's student in English language education. So I have a question from Miss Ayesha. So, as you know that nowadays modern warfare, maybe digital warfare, so what do you think that government should include digital literacy tools or digital literacy curriculum in our institute, our schools? Did you get my question?
So I want to say this. Do you ask about the digital warfare?
Yeah, as we know that now there is modern era that there is a lot of misinformation between many countries, between students. Do you think that government should put digital literacy or digital curriculum into our school, as a student can be aware about digital devices, then how we use digital devices, then how we can control misinformation like that.
Thank you so much. So you know what, whenever we heard the word the government and the state, we already know that our mainstream media is under the influence of our state. So our human mindset, like the student, we know that the social media, what we are controlling, where we can get the information, we feel like it is more free than the mainstream. So government, they will just, yeah, it's the good. You got the good point. I already mentioned so many sensitive issues that happens because of the misinformation. And he mentioned the world warfare. It's during now, you know, there is something when government make the policy about the public human mindset with with the blockage of information, and there is a mindset that we create from the information through the social media platforms. In 2022, the Pew Research said that in the United States, the turnout of the voter was the 11% because of the student use the TikTok. It goes against the government. Government lose the 11% of their voters against the another party. It same happens in Pakistan, same happens in the Bangladesh. But in Bangladesh, just because of the student, there is no government. So government will always try to block the social media platforms because it's the free. Yeah, but if we talk about the education ministry, they can just add the terms and the conditions about the information flow. It can be good for you, it is not good for you. Don't go for this and don't go for this. But as a student, we have the responsibility to do the double check and the research. So if you have any confusion, you can ask again.
Yeah, but what do you think that government should put this subject, digital literacy, into our curriculum? Because as we know that like Facebook, Instagram, these things belong to Generation Z generation, like we are.
Of course, I think the same like you. Government should put in our curriculum how we can use these platforms for the awareness, not in the negative perspective. And thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for your answer. Thank you so much.
What I was making the point, when we use these platforms and when we use the term government, it goes like in East and West. And this is the truth of our society. Because government they will always follow and they will always go with the mainstream media, not with the social media that is handling by the public and the students, especially the students who knows what is happening and why is happening, what is wrong and what is right. They will ask the questions against the policies because they are aware of why this is happening, right? So as a student, as a teacher, as a student of education, I will say yes, the government should include something about the digital platform use awareness from about the students, okay? Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much. And next for the last questions, okay, to Mr. Aldi, yes. Please.
All right. I would like to address these questions to Miss Victoria. Yeah. Since you are talking about the professional communications, as well as you relate your topic into the IELTS context, I think it's very interesting. Since I think you are coming from the finance or business background, yeah. So then, and also your English background, so then you connect those two things into the IELTS situations. Well, I think that's very interesting. My question is actually about your experience in terms of teaching IELTS. since you told me that you have a lot of experience in teaching IELTS and you probably use the professional communications into the IELTS teaching practice, then how actually you try to explain the rubric scoring criteria in the IELTS, especially in the speaking and writing, since it has a quite, biased scoring item there, such as for score 5, 6, 7, and so on. And the second question is for the multimodal context. Do you try to use kind of other types of feedbacks when you try to deliver your response to your students? Just like, do you use kind of email and also direct feedbacks or any other online platform, probably such as conference or other things, so then you can have a comprehensive feedbacks and use the professional communication itself into your IELTS class? Yeah. What I mean for the first question is actually the pen descriptors. I just forget the name. Pen descriptor. Thank you so much.
Okay, so please let me reflect upon your question, okay? So the first question that you asked is that how I actually apply my IELTS knowledge to the business field. Is that correct? Is that correct? Okay, good. So for this question, again, you have to master cross-cultural communication. For example, let me differentiate between Indonesia and Myanmar, my country. In Myanmar, Myanmar teachers, they encourage rote learning. Like, for example, enforcing university students or high school students to memorize the sentences again and again and again and again. And then over time, the students will behave like a book. And they cannot behave like an IELTS English user. Like, for example, reading comprehension, IELTS reading comprehension, for example. I think that is like the similar trait between an Indonesian and a Myanmar citizen, like they think that, especially the students that I have to deal with, they think that, the answers are in the reading comprehension paragraph. I can just copy down to the reading comprehension exercises. But that is not the case whatsoever. So how to teach certain students from different countries highly depends on how well they learn. And before teaching anything, you have to explore how well they learn, what kind of learning behavior that they have. Are they auditory learners? Are they kinesthetic learners? Whatsoever. And based on how well they learn, I, as a business owner, have to establish a syllabus in order for them to achieve a remarkable IELTS band score. Like, for example, just a few days ago, one of my students, he only achieved 5.5 IELTS band score. Just 15 sessions only, I can help him raise to 6.5 with 7.5 in IELTS listening. Just 15 sessions. But of course, you have to take at least 1 month, 30 sessions to achieve 0.5 or a 1.0 band score, because even the natives, I'm not a native, but even the natives, they cannot achieve band 9. Is that correct? Yeah. But however, the reason that I can help raise my student to raise that much band score is this strategy. I study people. I study the environment that they live in, I study the behavior, I study what my client wants. And that's how I create the syllabus and establish how well they need to learn in IELTS. So that's the first question. Does that answer your question? Yes. Okay, so can you, if you don't mind, can you please repeat your second question?
Yeah, it is about the multimodal context. So do you use several types of platforms, just like, sometimes with the limitations number of the training, then you just have few meetings in terms of the speaking and writing, then you can use probably kind of email things as a part of your feedbacks, and also direct feedback through the online, or probably conference, then you join a kind of small conference with their own classes, then they can have kind of presentations. To use kind of several types of the feedback, so then you can achieve a higher score for your students?
Okay. I made the evaluation report. And in that evaluation report, I remark the previous band scores of my students. Like, for example, in reading, my student only achieved like 6.0. And then now my student achieved 7.0. In listening, at first my student achieved, how much again? Wait a minute. I think it's 6.0, yeah. And then right now, her band score is 7.0 in reading, for example. I compare their previous band scores with their new band scores in my evaluation report, and I give advice on what to do in specific skills. Like, for example, in writing, right? In IELTS writing. I advise them on building their lexical resource. You know, the vocabulary words. They do not need to use advanced vocabulary words, but they have to use vocabulary words wisely. And of course, the sentence structure of how well they write IELTS writing topics. So most students, they lack coherence and grammatical structure of each sentence. Like, for example, what is coherence? Of course, coherence means you write the sentences or a paragraph based on how the readers can understand. That's the coherence. And that's one of the common mistakes that every IELTS learners make, and that's coherence. So I encourage them to read the sample answers of band 8.5, band 8.5, band 7.5 IELTS writing samples, and I let them reference the answers and use the vocabulary words and the grammatical structures into their writing. And when I teach my students, that is my advice, by the way, when I teach my students, I never let them write directly. I train them on how to make the mind map of their writing structure before they jump onto the main writing. That's the advice that I usually give to my students. And for speaking, of course, I encourage them to speak. Because without speaking, then what's the main point of IELTS speaking whatsoever? So I encourage them to speak. No matter the mistakes, no matter the causes, no matter the consequences, I encourage them to speak. And also, I encourage them to implement their grammar and vocabulary structure into their speaking as much as possible, because that's how I have learned. Well, personally, when I was young, I did not have the understandable grammatical accuracy and vocabulary usage. So like I had to implement certain grammatical and vocabulary usage into my speaking as much as I can, and that's how I try to develop my learning. And I always encourage my students to learn like that. So to cut a long story short, of course, I don't have much time to explain. So like, to cut a long story short, I advise my students to practice mind mapping, implement certain vocabulary words and grammatical resources into their speaking, and read the sample writing texts of band 7.5, 8.0, 8.5 writing style, something like that. So I give the advice, and then I have my own signature. I sign the evaluation report, and I hold the consultation meeting of each of my students to explore what they need further, to explore what they want further. So that's how I actually give my feedback. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, thank you, Miss Victoria. And ladies and gentlemen, before we got to the moderator giving certificate sessions, we would like to shout out to our sponsor today is Arcelio Aqua Park, living life to the full. Jadi teman-teman, Bapak Ibu sekalian, kita di sini ingin memberikan satu tiket gratis untuk mereka yang bisa menjawab pertanyaan dari saya. Pertanyaan simple, cepat-cepatan, angkat tangan, siapa cepat dia dapat. Pertanyaannya, dari mana asal negara Ayesha?
Pakistan.
Namanya dulu itu.
Oh iya. Okay, my name is Forest Prapsetiana. Miss Ayesha from Pakistan.
Silakan. Terima kasih. Okay, thank you so much. And thank you also for our sponsor, Arcelo Aqua Park, living life to the full. Thank you. Okay, now I will give it back to the MC. Thank you so much.
Give a big applause to our international students. Okay. So before we're moving on to the next agenda, we're going to give some certificate for the international students. Please, for Pak Faisal, international student, you can just get down here. Going here. And then this stage.
Just all of you guys stand up.
All right, you can sit down there. Ke atas.
Silakan, Bapak. Please. Okay, Mr. Mamut.
Look at the camera. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Next is Miss. Okay. Next is Miss Ayesha, please.
Wonderful.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Last but not least, Miss Victoria. Okay, thank you so much. And for all the speakers, please stand up. We will have photo sessions first. Please to Mr. Faisal. Please, ma'am. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please look at the camera. And 1, 2, smile. Okay, one more. One more, ladies and gentlemen. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, and all of the participants. Thank you. And now I really am officially turning it back to the MC.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you to our featured speakers and Mr. Rafli. Thank you very much to all of our featured speakers for sharing their valuable experiences and insights, and to Mr. Rafli for leading the session smoothly. We sincerely hope the knowledge and perspective shared will inspire and broaden our understanding as a global community.
Now we are entering the main academic agenda, is parallel session 1. All presenters, please move to your respective rooms and good luck with your presentation.
Okay, dear ladies and gentlemen, all presenters and participants of UPYC, we would like also to inform you that the poster presentation is available in the main hall here, in the main venue, especially for parallel room 1. Yeah. So while the committee is preparing the venue for parallel 1 in this room, you might also ask question or participate with the owner of the posters available here. And then for the presenters in parallel 2, parallel 3, parallel 4 and 5 rooms, kindly go to the access, the main lift there in the right of the venue. Okay, and then the lunch box is also available in the front of the lift. You might take the lunch while going to the parallel rooms. The parallel rooms number 2 until number 5 in the 4th floor di lantai 4.
Pak Adi, mungkin please, as you come out of this room, you may take the lunch box with you. And then for the participants, you may go, you may enter, and also the instructors, you can choose the parallel room if you want to watch for the presentation. And then you can go back here for the keynote session after duhur prayer. So one more time. Please, you can also, kita di sini ada poster presentation ya, bisa dilihat sambil menunggu parallel session. Silakan dicek jadwalnya di rundown yang sudah dibagikan di grup. Good luck everybody.
Oke, thank you Bu Fafa. Sebagaimana tadi kami sampaikan, khusus untuk parallel room 1, silahkan Anda boleh melihat-lihat poster yang sudah dipersiapkan oleh pemilik poster presentation untuk berdiskusi, bertanya tentang apa yang disampaikan di dalam poster-poster mereka. Sambil kami mempersiapkan sesi paralel 1 di room ini. Terima kasih. Baik, mulai ada pengunjung di poster presentation sambil menunggu parallel session di room 1 ini siap. Jadi bagi para presenters di sesi poster presentation, silahkan standby di depan posternya masing-masing, di samping posternya masing-masing. Silakan para pemilik posters. Booth Anda sudah dikunjungi oleh para pengunjung sambil kita mempersiapkan parallel session 1. Silakan standby di poster masing-masing untuk mempresentasikan poster Anda di booth Anda masing-masing.
UMP Progressive Conference. We gather under the theme Empowering Voices, and for me, it isn't just a slogan, it is a personal truth. Because we all know that voice is not something we automatically have in every context. Sometimes we grow into it. Sometimes we fight for it. And sometimes we only realize its power when we finally hear ourselves speak. Let me take you back to where this realization began for me. Years ago, I was a newly appointed English teacher in southeastern Turkey. Like many young educators, I stepped into the classroom and I had the desire to teach, to change lives. I had ideas, I had ambitions, and a deep desire to make a difference in people's lives. But soon I realized I began that a subtle feeling, a growing tension between who I was and what the system expected me to be. Teaching was meaningful for sure, but the space for creativity and for reflection, for academic inquiry felt kind of limited. Not because people didn't care about all these, I mean, many did, but because the structure itself left little room for questioning, evolving, or imagining new ways of doing things. I was not unhappy for sure, but I was unfulfilled. I found myself wanting more, and I found myself, I wanted a place, like I told myself, I want a place where I could keep teaching, but also keep learning as a teacher. I wanted a place where I could write, research, and engage in bigger conversations, like nationally and globally as well. And I wanted my voice could echo more than in bigger places, more than in a room, as it does. So this search led me to higher education in Turkey. I mean, transitioning into academia wasn't an escape from teaching. It was kind of an expansion of it. It was the space where I could finally connect my classroom experiences with my academic curiosity. It was where I could begin shaping, not just repeating, what education could be, as we all know. So that's the journey where what I want to share with you today. Because when a teacher finds their voice, they could do more than speaking. They could ignite. They activate conversations with this. They inspire reflection. They make space for others speak too. Today, I will explore how empowering teachers through academic literacy, through digital literacy, and professional communication, which are all essential for shaping not just future classrooms, but also future communities. And in doing so, we align with the spirit of this conference to integrate academic and digital literacy into future education and workplace communication practices. Well, I would like to continue with my teaching journey. It started with genuine excitement. When I worked for the Ministry of Education, I started to work there. I loved my students. I loved the process of teaching, but something kept bothering me. It wasn't the workload, it was the predictability I personally felt. While the public system supports many dedicated educators, my own context lacked space for the kind of reflection and creativity which I was seeking. I began to feel that in my particular setting, I was seen primarily for what I was expected to deliver, not for the full scope of what I could contribute. I started to feel a growing dissonance between who I was and who the system wanted me to be. It was not merely about teaching English, of course, and I wanted to, it was about nurturing minds, fostering critical thinking, continuously growing as an academic and as a communicator. But in that environment back in Ministry of Education in public schools, my professional voice felt small and almost invisible. I realized then that I needed a different path, a space where learning is dynamic, where academic inquiry is celebrated, and where my voice could contribute meaningfully to broader conversations. The system and its prevailing routines often made it difficult to challenge norms or introduce alternative perspectives. And I also noticed that many colleagues back in Ministry of Education in public schools felt similarly restricted, even when they deeply cared about innovation, changes in their context. And I didn't want to be someone who just followed a curriculum. I wanted to question it. I wanted to reimagine it and contribute to it as an academic, as a teacher, as an active learner. But let's be honest, in the public system, especially in certain contexts like southeastern Turkey, opportunities for individual initiative can be quite limited, such as time, such as resources, such as institutional culture, all shape what is possible. And in my context, it was not kind of possible that much. Well, I wanted to expand my teaching. I didn't want to leave it behind. And I wanted to grow and help others grow with me. So when I transitioned to higher education, I felt in academia, I found the opportunity to not only deepen my academic literacy, I also strengthened my professional communication skills there, such as reaching wider audiences, empowering my students, and shaping future educators. And as we all know that we step into an increasingly digital world, I now see the limitless possibilities to amplify these voices through digital literacy as well. Today, standing here, I know empowering one's voice is not a passive journey. It's an active, conscious pursuit, a decision to refuse silence, to embrace learning, and to lead others toward their own empowerment. Talking about academic literacy, it's not only about mastering a field, it's mastering the courage to think, to question, and to create. In many ways, academic literacy acts as the foundation of the teacher empowerment. It's not merely about accumulating degrees, publishing papers, or quoting famous theorists. It is about learning how to ask better questions about the world, about ourselves, and about the future we hope to shape. This is what post-method pedagogist, as we all know, Balakumaravadivelu, suggests. He emphasizes that rather than practicing the theories, you should come up with the theories from your own practices. This is the idiosyncrasy of teaching. And we all know that, in fact, teaching English is idiosyncratic to its core. So when teachers engage with academic literacy deeply, they move beyond the role of information transmitters. We as teachers become critical thinkers, lifelong learners, and most importantly, agents of change, the catalyzers of change within their classrooms and communities. So as a teacher, this way, your professional identity evolves from passive followers of a curriculum to active agents, to active architects of educational experiences. But here's the challenge. Academic literacy is not handed to us. It demands resilience. It demands that we unlearn outdated beliefs and relearn how to view knowledge as a living, evolving conversation, not a fixed set of answers. So when I transitioned to higher education, I realized academic literacy was not just about reading articles or writing assignments. It was, in fact, finding my own voice in the crowded, complex dialogue of education. So it was about connecting theories to realities and research human lives, which means that reclaiming your own voice, because academia is a space where your experiences as a teacher could turn into something bigger, something more visible and more impactful. So in this journey, academic literacy empowered me by giving me the confidence to challenge norms, giving me the confidence, the language to advocate for innovation. And it gave me the vision to imagine better futures for my students. So here, empowering voices, therefore, begins with empowering minds. And empowering minds begins with academic literacy, not as a task to complete, but as a lifelong commitment to curiosity, growth, and transformation. So here you can see in the picture, I found my missing puzzle piece, and I've gained my fingerprint in academia. Speaking about academic literacy, it is one side of the coin, and the other side is digital literacy. So where you can amplify your voice and agency as a teacher. Think about from local to global. There is the power of digital voice. As my academic path evolved, I started exploring new dimensions of voice, particularly digital voice. Because let's face it, today, visibility isn't just about writing papers or giving talks. It's more about showing up online, engaging, collaborating, amplifying. Where do we do all these? Through digital platforms. And I found ways to reach new audiences with this. Students, fellow educators, international researchers. And what's most exciting is seeing how students use digital tools to build their own voices, like in podcasts, digital storytelling, even Instagram posts that we all use today, quite popular these days. They all reflect deep and reflective learning. I truly believe that digital literacy is one of the most powerful tools for both teachers and also learners. It is about how we tell our stories. It's how we build our agencies, and it's how we refuse to be silent, in fact. But again, it's not automatic. It requires intention. It requires reflection and also training. That's why integrating it into teacher education is essential, not optional, not anymore, at least. And let me rephrase myself. As I became more active in academia, I realized that voice is no longer confined to lecture halls or printed journals. In today's world, it echoes through microphones, through screens, and online communities, like online platforms. So it's not a technical skill. It's a transformational power, okay? And here's what I mean by that. I would like to share some examples about these. We've had a podcast project in ELT. And in one of my classes, I invited students to create short podcast episodes in English, not graded for grammar. Grammar was not restricting, and I wanted them to be authentic, and I wanted them to use the language for one purpose, okay? I wanted them to clarify their intentions. So my learners chose their own topics, anything from from their personal life, it could be anything. I mean, I said the sky is the limit. And for many of them, it was the first time they heard their own voices played back as something valuable, not something to be corrected. It was not a speaking task for sure. It was more than that. It was identity building. It was for public performance, and it was for confidence development. I wanted them to have a chance to speak literally beyond the classroom. And what was quite touching, one of my students told me that, "Miss, I never thought my English would matter to anyone, but this felt really important for me." So this stayed with me. Quite moving, right? And let's not pretend digital literacy only belongs to students, guys. I'll be honest, most of my academic opportunities, these keynote included, have come through digital engagement. We all know that platforms like LinkedIn, ResearchGate, academic listservs, or when you share your reflections with like studies, like even questions, not just polished papers, or attending webinars across borders, mentoring through email threads, collaborating with researchers I've never met in person. Hi, Astria, dear Astria, I'd like to wave my hand for you. So this isn't just about branding, guys. It's about participating. And when you participate, it's about empowerment. Yeah, it's a kind of empowerment. You say, I'm here. Hey, I'm here. Look at me. I'm visible and I have a voice and I have some stuff to tell you. And please, let's move beyond. Can you use Zoom? When we say digital literacy, all of you might think about technical skills, like can you edit a Word document? It's rather, can you tell a story using digital tools? Please ask these questions to yourself. Can you empower students to find their own voices online? Can you contribute to meaningful, critical conversations across borders? Okay, these are the things that we should consider when we talk about digital literacy in today's world. So I call you to action. Okay, if we want empowered classrooms, we need empowered platforms. If we want reflective teachers, we must give them spaces where they can speak, write, question, and connect. And if we want visible education communities, we need digitally literate educators who don't just adapt to the digital world, digital age, but also they shape it, right? So we often think of professional communication as a set of rules. We've talked about academic literacy, digital literacy, and now we're talking about professional communication, guys. We always think about professional communication like be polite, be formal, be clear, to be professional, to look like a professional. But over the years, believe me, I've come to see it as something much deeper. For me, it's relational. It's how we build bridges between ourselves and the others, like with me and colleagues, me and my students, me and my institution, and even unknown audiences across the world. It's not just how we speak, it's how we position ourselves in conversation, in a field, and in a future we're hoping to shape. In teacher education and academia, we communicate all the time through emails, presentations, interviews, reports, feedback sessions. But how often do we pause and ask, what do I really want this communication to do? What identity am I performing when I write this email? Who am I including or excluding through my words? These all define how we perceived, remembered, and trusted. These are not small questions, guys. These are big questions, important questions. And I would like you to listen carefully because this example is really important and it changed my life. I would like to talk about the difference one email made. Well, back when I was preparing for Erasmus Plus application, it was for the first time. I remember writing an email to potential partner university in Europe. It was in Poland as far as I can remember. I spent more time writing that email than some people spend writing abstracts, believe me. Because I knew that I wasn't just asking for a collaboration. I was building first impression, a tone, a potential long-term partnership. My email wasn't only about me, it was about us. I was representing my community, my culture, my country, my university. It was more than that. And that collaboration happened. But more importantly, it became a reminder that every professional interaction is a window into who you are, into what you value, into how you connect to the others. And let's be honest, conferences like this one aren't just about presenting a paper. They're about being seen, they're about being heard, and they're about being remembered. So when I first presented my first research study in a national conference, I remember I was quite nervous, and my voice shook. But something changed in that room. I saw people nodding, taking notes, blah, blah, and someone came up to me afterwards and said, "You said something I felt for years, but never knew how to articulate." That's when I realized professional communication isn't about showing off what you know. It is about connecting with honesty, clarity, and shared purpose, guys. So, what do I mean by this? I mean, you should consider going beyond formality. You should include cultural sensitivity, digital etiquette, multilingual awareness, because if you think globally, right, you should think about multilingualism. You should consider multilingual awareness and equity of voice, because speaking up in professional spaces, especially as a woman, like minorities or underrepresented voices, it's not easy, guys. We should always consider going beyond formalities, and we should have courage, written in capital letters in my presentation. So we cannot empower future learners without empowering today's teachers to speak up. You cannot talk about empowering your learners without empowering yourself. And we should teach them in the future. Speak up, write clearly, and communicate with purpose. We are more than English teachers. We should always keep these in mind. And it doesn't depend on your training as an English teacher, because it's a mindset, guys. It's a mindset that our voices, when used with care and clarity, can transform spaces. We can say that voice is not volume, it's clarity, being clear, having a clear intention. And empowerment, of course, is not a gift. It's a decision and a mindset. Visibility, on the other hand, is not an ego. It is contribution. You might feel like showing off, your knowledge, your etiquette, your title. It's more than that, believe me. So before finishing, I would like to share a letter which I wrote for you guys, for all of you. Let's see it. Dear learner, dear teacher, dear future voice, you don't have to wait for permission to matter. You already have enough to begin and brave enough to grow. So speak, write, ask, disrupt. Use your voice as a tool and like a gift, because when you rise, others will hear the echo and they will rise too. So I would like to wrap up myself. I didn't escape teaching, I expanded it, because what we do in our classrooms, whether think about that, whether in Mardin, in southeastern Turkey, or in Indonesia, it matters. the voice has ripple effects, guys. And when we empower ourselves to speak, write, lead, and reflect, we don't just change classrooms, we change narratives. We make the future more inclusive, more thoughtful, and more human. I invite you to do the same with courage, care, and with your own voice. Thank you all for your patience, and I will be here if you have any questions. You're all welcome. Thank you so much.
Okay, so thank you very much, Ms. SERAP EMEN. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big hand to SERAP EMEN for this wonderful presentation. Okay, so one thing for sure that the great statement coming from Ms. SERAP EMEN is that empowerment is a mindset, especially for us as a women, that we need to, speak up more, especially in our classroom, to raise our voice and to have like an understanding or to make understanding and also the relationship between us as a teacher and also the students. Now, I believe that tons of questions already crossing in our mind here for the participants. So I would like to open Q&A or question and answer for the offline participants and also for online participants. Now I would like to open for the first two questions from here, from the auditorium. Do we have questions here? Yep. And also, we open the questions from the online participants. You may directly raise your hand through the Zoom or open the camera. Yeah, this is really interesting, Ms. SERAP, as we, listening to your journey, dealing with your teacher and also teaching and also for career path. And we believe that communication is not just about speaking, as you mentioned, but it's about building understanding and also the relationship. So I believe this presentation is really useful for us, as most of the students, some of them are also a future teacher and some of them are currently enrolled in the teacher training program. So this is really richful for them. It's very wonderful insight. So now, yes, we have questions from here. Yes. Okay, one question from the audience, please, in the auditorium.
Hi, hi SERAP.
Hi there.
By the way, what time is there? Is it in the morning there in Turkey or?
Yes, 9:30 in the morning.
Oh, 9:30. Okay, yeah. So it's
Yeah.
already in the good time, yeah. Okay. We are talking a lot about academia, yeah. So my question is actually related to me. I'm as a teacher, but not a lecturer. So. So we are as an instructor, we call ourselves as an instructor because most of our jobs actually are teaching. More likely a teacher, so then we don't have any kind of extra job just like research and also community service. Then long time ago I joined the academia. It gives me a lot of resources actually, then some kind of suggestions that what kind of things that I prefer to particular topic, then it gives me suggestions. But can you give me a suggestion actually how I can improve well in terms of the usage of the academia itself? In terms of because you're talking about the academic literacy and digital literacy things, but somehow since I have a very limited practice in some of the research, then it makes me quite difficult to follow that kind of digital information thing, just kind of reading things, and even it becomes, if I'm mistaken, yeah, it requires kind of subscriptions if you want to make it into a full versions of the document, some kind of things. That's the first questions. The second question is about my students. So just to let you know that actually I'm teaching for non-English background. So my students come from engineering, they come from the mathematics and so on. Then it is integrated into one class. And how do you suggest us and me and also my students so that they can have a good information about the digital literacy coming from the academia website, let's say. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much for these valuable questions. Well, I would like to start with the first one. You said I don't have much information or knowledge about hows and whys of academia. I mean, first of all, it's more about where you stand. Like if you're doing a master's degree or a PhD, you are into it. I mean, like you're born into that. You are there and you have to learn how to do it. Because considering my own journey, I was like you, just like you, but I was quite curious about researching, contributing. I wanted to move beyond repeating what I was told to do, because there was the curriculum, the book, the curriculum, the system, the learners, and I was to do them. It was kind of a repetition. I was only teaching, transmitting the knowledge, okay? A for apple, B for, that kind of teaching. And I wanted to move beyond that. And what did I do? I started to study for a master's degree. And I wanted to apply for a master's degree, started to search new ways, new gates for that. When I stepped into the master's degree, like in Chai University, we were always talking about how to research, how to implement inquiries, like changing lives, like contributing to academia with your papers, with your dissertation, etc. So I found myself like I was quite better than the days I was working at public schools. I started to write academic papers. Wow, I was not believing in myself that I could someday achieve it, but I found myself in the masters, and I started to question and be one of the academics, and it was automatic, yeah, with one push entering to masters. Then I found myself, I'm achieving all these. Like academic literacy is not given to you, okay? You should fight for it. I don't know if you're holding, yes, you're holding BA. I don't know if you're doing master's or PhD. I suggest you to step into that, to dive into that. Without diving, you can't learn how to swim. Academic literacy is something like this. And for the other question, well, you said there is the multiple context. Yeah, your learners are from quite different areas. You can combine this. You can look for some theories from NELT, like content-based or computer-aided. Like I suggest you to come up with everyday use of language. I don't know your curriculum. I don't know your agenda about what you're teaching in your class. But I suggest you to combine all the areas, not just one, not just a specific one. I want you to focus more on communicative practices with different functionings in your classroom. Let me give you an example, because it's kind of vague now for you. So we talked about digital literacy, right? You can want your learners create Google Drive dossier or file and upload some videos. We're talking specifically about speaking right now. Some videos about, let's say, how they can apply for Erasmus Plus, or you can want them to write an email for fictional, let's make it fictional Erasmus Plus application. This is for real life, right? They can all make use of it, and you can embrace all your learners, not just math learners or not just architecture learners. Like all departments can be in one path, can be on one path, and you can embrace all your learners with common purposes, but for real practices, for real functioning in the society, because they all need English. And I want you to redefine why they're learning English. Because as far as I can understand, you have a multiple context, like multiple learners from multiple backgrounds, but the only aim is to learn English and to function with it, right? So you should come up with ideas like activities, or you can call them tasks, for 1 week, for each week, throughout a semester, throughout the year, and they can upload it and they can see each other's like content. It can be Edmodo. I can write it down, or you can take notes. Edmodo is another option. Edmodo, you all know it. It's for educational purposes, a platform. Or you can make use of Google Drive, which I love. Or you can even make use of YouTube. I wanted my learners to upload their videos on YouTube. They were watching each other and laughing at each other. I mean, they were making fun of each other, but at least they gained the confidence and they said, I'm uploading my videos on YouTube. Oh, come on. They gained the confidence and they gained the digital literacy. And at the same time, my purpose was to teach English and they were learning. So these are all I can say. I hope I answered my questions. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your contribution.
Thank you so much for your answer, Sarah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so thank you, Pak Aldias, for delivering the questions. Now we move on to the second participants who would like to ask questions. Yes, please, Papa, please stand up.
Thank you for the chance. Yeah. For Miss SERAP, yeah, my name is Tony. I'm an English instructor, but actually most of my students are non-English major. Yeah, and my problem is, can you give me suggestion? Yeah, how to encourage my student? Yeah, to maybe practice their speaking or just presenting their self to move out from the class, such to join like seminar or maybe just as a parallel presenter, such kind of like that, or just poster presenter, such kind of like that. So can you give me suggestion how to encourage my student to join such kind of this agenda, whether my student is not majoring in English, that's not their what is it? Primary needs, or maybe their such kind of like that. Thank you, Ms. Sarah.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thank you so much. And I was searching the answer for this, believe me, because I have similar kind of learners, because they're not that much curious about seeking for academic opportunities. To some extent, it's instinctual, I can say. We cannot urge them, right? Because they're all grown up and you don't have to, they don't have to join anything. But we can push them, we can encourage them by, I'm talking for the very beginning of the practices. You can start by telling, if you join this conference, I'll give you +5 points for your final exam. This is a way, because I am doing it and it works to some extent. Sometimes I was making use of this. Instructional, how can I say, the integrative motivation, like Gardner suggests. He says, you do some stuff for the sake of something, right? Because there is this gift, there is this present at the end. And just like treating a kid, okay, you can find a path to mediate academic activities, academic atmospheres, just like this. Here you are, but where is your learners? They're not there because they're not curious about some such stuff. Starting from this, I can suggest you to tell about your own story, because learners are not into stories, fictional stories, or they want to see something concrete. They want to hear about something real, lively, okay? So if you give examples from your own life, in some way you can touch their heart to they might start to question, okay, that's our teacher and he is always pushing harder to get to some better places in academia or in his personal professional development. Oh, that might be something important. They might start to question. Okay, you may not have the fruits of that, but for the next teacher, for the next coming years, they might start to understand or question, interpret. Yeah, that might be something worthy. I mean, waking up early in the morning in Saturday or Sunday and going to, attending a conference. Yeah, if he is doing that, he might have a point. Yeah, so we should always spark that little thing, okay? That little thing in their hearts. You may not come up with big results, like you may not be satisfied with the answers, their attitudes, but in the end, they will start to say that, yeah, they're saying, believe me, my learners start to question. Hocam, in Turkish, miss, you're always studying, you're always working hard. Why? I mean, you can't be happy in other way. I say, this is my way. This is where I stand. I mean, your story is really important. It matters, believe me. With your stance, you can be an idol for them. You can be the biggest example for them. Otherwise, it depends on them. I mean, sometimes you may feel like you fail, like pushing or encouraging them to attend conferences or academic, professional development activities. But in some way, this will stay with them, okay? They will always remember you like this, in this way. And at some point in their life, they will start to question that, yeah, this is another option. Yeah. And it is on us to to create an idea in their mind, to think about some other possibilities of the living. This is how we transform lives, okay? I don't know if I am clear, but I wanted to give examples from my own teaching and from my own learners, if you have the answer.
Yeah, thank you very much for your suggestion.
You're very welcome.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. SERAP, I think we have to, we come into the end of our plenary sessions. But before that, dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, today we were truly inspired by the journey of our wonderful and beautiful presenters today, Ms. SERAP EMEN, who reminded us that voice is not just something we're given. It is something we grow into. It is something we fight for and choose to use with courage. And from her early days as a teacher, which is full of patience, of course, to navigating the limitations of the classroom, she chose not to escape, but to expand. Through God academic and digital literacy, she discovered how to connect, to publish, and to speak with purpose. And her words that struck a powerful chord: you do not need permission to matter. Your voice is already enough to begin with. Let us take this message to heart as students, educators, and leaders. Let's write, speak, and rise, not just for ourselves, but to lift others along the way. Ms. SERAP EMEN, on behalf of the committee, we would like to say thank you very much for willing to be our keynote speakers today at the UPYC 2025. As our gratitude to you, we would like to share a certificate from the committee to you.
Thank you so much. I can't thank you enough. And believe me, I'm quite sensitive right now. I really have the honor to be here with you today, and believe me, it was not an easy journey for me. But when I look back on my journey, when I look back on my story, I say that, yeah, you did it. Yeah, you deserve better. And that's how I motivate myself. And I suggest all the learners, prospective teachers, they all have a bright future ahead of them. I hope everything will be very well for them, for you, for your learners, and for your future community. Thank you so much. Thanks a million for being here, for giving me the chance to be here with you. Thank you.
You're welcome, Ms. SERAP. Once again, on behalf of the committee, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed keynote speakers, SERAP EMEN, for sharing their invaluable insight and inspiring perspective. Your contributions have truly enriched our event and sparked meaningful conversations. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big hand to Ms. SERAP EMEN. And Miss, thank you very much for your time, your dedication, and also your expertise. I'll see you again soon in the UPYC 2026.
Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. So this is the end for the plenary sessions. I will give it back to the MC.
Thank you very much to Dr. SERAP EMEN PhD for the inspiring and insightful presentation, and to Ms. Putri for moderating the session smoothly. We truly appreciate your valuable contribution to this event, and we hope the knowledge and perspective shared in this session will be meaningful and beneficial for all of us.
Now we will proceed to parallel session 2. Presenters, please move to your assigned rooms, and good luck for your presentations.
Again, dear presenters of UPYC, we are providing the parallel rooms for the parallel session 2. The available rooms are in the 4th floor, the same floor you had before, and then the other 2 are online. Ya, Pak Alias, ya. The other 2 parallel rooms online. The other one offline in the 4th floors. So kindly join the parallel session before the closing ceremony. In the closing ceremony, we are going to inform to everyone here about the best presenters and the other categories. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Halo Mbak Devina. Mbak Devina dengar suara saya? Am I audible to you, Mbak Devina? Enggak.
Everybody who has involved in this occasion. So without further ado, after thanking everybody, after wishing you all the best for your future, so hopefully this event will be beneficial for everybody, especially those who will graduate from the English enrichment program. So by saying Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, Amin, I officially close this event. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you for Mr. Faisal, SSM, PD, PhD for the closing remarks.
After the closing remark, we will announce the best presenters of UPYC 2025 for the elite student category. All right. Thank you to everyone for your participation and amazing presentation today. As part of our appreciation, we will now announce the winners for the Best Presenters Awards in several categories. Let's see. All right, we're waiting for the technical. You guys can see on the monitor.
Best Presenters UPYC 2025. The third position goes to Sahasika Sahda Natania with the title Standard we didn't sign up for, mental health in the age of social comparison.
The second winner is
Fani Trihimawan
with the title A Book Review of the Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. And for the first position, the winner is...
Congratulations for Lanang Danar Aditama Setiadi
with the title, Not Just a Lousy Page, The Emancipatory Potential of Student Media.
Please give an applause for all the winner UPYC 2025. To Mr. Arif and Mrs. Suhandini, please come.
Please come forward to give the... Alright.
For the ultimate winner of UPYC 2025.
But first, for Sahasika,
Fani,
and Lanang Damar, you may come forward. Sahasika Sahda? Oh, diwakilkan. Baik. Okay, start from the third winner. Please look at the camera. 1, 2, 3.
For the next category is presentation slide. For the third winner, congratulations for Hotibul Umam Syaifullah.
Third winner. For the second winner of best presentation slides is Nova Hairunisa, Leaving Home to Find a Future, the Kabur Aja Dulu phenomenon among Indonesian youth. Ooh. Interesting.
And the first winner, best presentation slides, UPYC 2025 goes to Devina Septia Azahra with the title Critical Thinking and Digital Literacy as Tool for Navigating Misinformation in a Media Saturated
World.
Please forward all the winner best presentation slides to come forward. Once again, congratulations to all the winners, and thank you to every presenter for your outstanding contributions. Hope this recognition will inspire everyone for the future opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, finally, we come to the end of the UPYC 2025. Thank you for being a part of this event. And see you in the next UPYC 2026. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The world is becoming more limitless, and global competition is becoming more accessible. But that doesn't mean compromising our essence and abandoning our cherished values. Instead, it's an opportunity to showcase the greatness of our diversity to the world. Globalization demands that we stay abreast of the latest scientific developments to meet the needs of our time and serve humanity. That is why we need to open our hearts, continue learning, and never be content in our quest to become individuals who are excellent, modern, and guided by Islamic values. With this spirit, we believe that achievements are inevitable and that they open up broader opportunities for continuous progress and being at the forefront. Surely on the path of change, we will face obstacles that we must overcome, demonstrating our ability to conquer them. Health, environment, economic development, and other areas in need of improvement. To what extent can we stride forward and contribute to supporting our nation? We simply need not hesitate to try, for today belongs to us. We will hold hands, collaborate, work shoulder to shoulder, and together achieve success. Because we are UMP.
Yang ngambil Miko kan mentor. Iya mentor.
Win. Satu, dua, tiga, cepret.
Tikus memangres.
Asik sendiri.
Litivo. Thank you juga. Guys, Ivo. Ini ya estetik ya. Lucu ya. Iya lucu ya. Yang sama siapa? Kita baru semua. Coba. Climb every mountain.
1, 2.
Just, iya bagus.
Iya, aku beda dapat.
Tapi lucu ininya tote bag.
Iya dong.
Aku ngincer kalendernya. Mas Fani.
Funny.
Ayo foto.
You
Iya.
also will be our family. Iya ada Sahara. Fani. Siapa ya? Sini lah.
Bukan, bukan.
Ih, enggak. There goes Mamang Racing. Itu nggak nyambung, itu nyambung ya? Nyambungin dong.
Apa?
Itu nyambungnya.